Hi, I'm Jenny with Roots and Wings Furniture, and today I'm going to show you how to get this really cool driftwood finish using paint. You want to see how to do it? Let's go. This tabletop has been painted with one coat of driftwood. This is a really nice color. It's really neutral. It's a light gray, but it does have a tiny bit of brown in it. So this is just one coat on the table here. And this tabletop was already a painted finish. It was pretty scratched up, so I just cleaned it off and gave it a coat of driftwood. Now, to get this even more driftwood faux wood look, what we're gonna do is use a couple of products. I've got a couple brushes here. You can also use a chip brush for this if you have one. So but you will need a couple, so grab a couple. And then the first thing we're gonna put on here is the Best Dang Wax in white. So we are going to kind of dry brush this over the table and give it a little bit of a lighter color, put some white on there. So this is what we're gonna use. After we do the white wax, we're gonna come in with a darker color, and I'm gonna use Gravel Road. It's a really pretty dark grayish brown, so we're gonna put that on and give it a little bit more tone. And then once we're done with the way we like the way it looks, we're gonna seal it up, and I'm gonna seal this tabletop with gator hide. Tabletops get a lot of wear and tear, so that's why I'm going to use gator hide on this. We're going to seal it all in and protect our beautiful finish. All right, so let's get started. First things first, we are going to use the white wax. All right, grab yourself a paper towel and a brush. And for this, it doesn't matter, like say if you have a chip brush, a Dixie Belle brush, Purdy, whatever you've got is fine for this. Now, we are going to use some wax, and you just kind of blot your brush in there, grab a paper towel so you have it handy, and then we are just going to dry brush the wax right on the table. Now, what's going to be hard for you to see is that when I painted this, the brush strokes are all going the same direction, and they're going this way. And the reason I did that is because we are going to mimic the look of wood. So we're going to try and keep our lines pretty straight here and go the same direction with all of our finish. I like the way the wax is going on. I think it's giving a really neat finish. But if you didn't have wax and you had white paint, you could definitely use that instead too. Just use what you've got and do this technique, and you'll come up here with a really cool layered effect. So you can see what we're doing, and we're just adding some color in here. And it looks good. We're not using the wax as a protectant. We're just using it to give us some color. But the cool thing about Dixie Belle wax is that it is water-based. So we can put paint, another layer of paint right on top of the wax. It'll stick just fine. We can seal it with a water-based top coat, and it will all work well together. Some waxes, you gotta be really careful because they're not water-based. So that would not be the case. So on the end, the edge of the table here, just kind of going around in the direction of the edge of the table. And the wax is going to settle in not only of the brush strokes that we have, or any grooves, any nicks, anything you've got on the table, the wax is going to accentuate and kind of settle in there. So just make sure you're okay with that. Okay, I've got the the wax applied all over the tabletop. I'm just gonna let this dry. Probably about 10 minutes is all that needs before we come in and we're going to start adding another layer. So I'll be right back when this is dry. All right, once we've got our wax layer on, now we're gonna come in with a darker color paint. And this is just gonna give our table some dimension. Again, this is Gravel Road. Now, this is where we're gonna have to be a little more careful than we were with the wax. Really damp it off on your paper towel, and then we're going to do the same technique in the same direction. We just want to give an additional layer of color, and this is where you can kind of make it look like wood. This is also a technique where once you get it on there and once you like it, you just leave it alone, let it dry. So I like it just about like that. Okay, just about like that. Now, don't be afraid of this technique, because if you get a little heavy-handed in one area or you're not sure you like it, remember, we're just working with paint. You can come in with another layer. You could do another layer of white. You could come back in with your driftwood and smooth out any areas. We did get a couple darker spots, and I'm okay with that, because if you think about it, that's what wood looks like. But it's definitely something that you can fix if you are not happy with the way that your table is looking so far. So add another layer if you need to. But one thing we're gonna do, this was a happy accident on my sample board yesterday. Before this coat of Gravel Road is completely dry, we're gonna go ahead and put our top coat on, and it's going to even smooth out and kind of drag the color along with it just a little bit, so we get a really nice even look. So I'm gonna let this dry for just a minute so it's dry to the touch but not completely cured, and we'll come in with our layer of top coat. That'll help spread it and even it just a little bit more until we get this really fun finish. All right, everything is dry to the touch, but like I say, it's not cured. So we are gonna go ahead with our top coat, and hopefully this will work the same way it did on the sample board. Again, I'm using gator hide, which is the most durable top coat. Because this is the top of a table, I want to give it the most durable top coat that I can. And I am using the Dixie Belle mini brush. The way I like to do top coat is really get enough on there, spread it around, and then leave it alone. Like that. And you can, I don't know if you can see, but I can see, we're pulling the color just enough to kind of help blend it and give it one more little dimension. Love that since the wax is water-based, this top coat can go right on top of it with no problem at all. once the top is done, I just come around the side. That will catch any drips and then seal up the side for you. Okay, that is it. So this is just gonna dry. Give it a nice long time to dry and cure. It'll be dry to the touch here in just an hour or so, but let it sit so the tabletop really has the protection that it needs. So I wanted to tell you one more thing about this piece. The base of the table and 4 chairs I painted in drop cloth, and drop cloth is like a really pretty creamy white. It gives a contrast to the top of the table, which is what I was looking for. And get this, this is a 16-ounce jar. I was able to do all 4 chairs and the base of this table twice, and I still have enough left, probably like a quarter of the can left. So if I wanted to do the tabletop in the same color, I could have. I just wanted to give you a bit of a reference for how far this paint goes. So it did take 2 coats to cover it. The chairs were black to start with, and now they're this nice creamy white. But it matches really well. It gives a little contrast with the top of the table, and this paint goes a really long way. So I hope you enjoyed this driftwood finish, and we'll try it on the next piece. If you had a lot of details and you weren't doing a flat surface, you could also add some distressing for that little bit of extra dimension. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll show you final pictures of this set in just a few minutes. Don't forget to check out my website, rootsandwingsfurniture.com, for more painting tips and tricks and DIY. Also, subscribe to this channel so that you won't miss a thing. Click the button below.